to, what episode are we on, Joy?
So 28.
28. Oh, I got a little visitor back there. Don't mind her. She's popping in to say hello. The dogs can't come this far in the house, so she will just circle around and we'll try to come in here. But yeah, she gets beeped if she comes this far. So mostly to keep her away from the anybody coming through the front door. She's a big jumper, so we got to keep her back. she's a new baby. We've only had her about 6 months now, so she's just learning the rules and how to behave. Honey.
How to be.
Yeah, how to be in our house. So yeah, it's interesting. She's very wild, my wild child for sure. We got her as a gift for my daughter for her birthday. So, and she picked her out. So I think she kind of is like the same energy, but in an animal. So, anyway, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I don't know. I was just kind of doing an energy clearing right now and helping us ground because there's so much high energy right now due to the solar flares that we're getting. The Schumann is even just staying up a notch, steady.
Well, let me know what's going on because I have been I've been traveling in my own field. So I have not been really online a lot lately. That's also part of what many of us are experiencing is kind of this going within. So not spending quite as much time scrolling, which I miss because I do get a lot of energy exchange. I do enjoy the energy exchanges between people on social media. But currently I'm going through a lot of clearing a lot of things that are internal, so focusing more on that. But I'm also learning balance. It's always the balancing. I think as long as we're alive we're going to be balancing. So, and then of course we've always got, we're kind of like on this scale and you got these solar flares coming in on top of it, so it can kind of make you a little wobbly, and then you got to find your balance again. So it's a constant. But anyway, yeah, let me know what's going on. I want to give me the update.
Well, we have Sunspot 3311. That's our active. Is it a coincidence that it's 3311 though? The numbers, always the numbers. And you have to watch what times the solar flares come in, because they'll come in at like 1:11 or right on the hour. Mm-hmm. And some of it's our technology because it only updates on the half hour or so on and so forth. However, some of the numbers you need to pay attention to because they're activations.
And that's funny that you bring up the numbers, because what I want to get into today and talk about is a little bit of, if I can remember it, my dream last night. And when you talk about the numbers, one of the things that popped out in my dream was, and I'll get into it later, but something about the science of numbers. And are we, awakened to the science of numbers? So, and numerology, basically.
There's
so keep going.
many languages within the number system. Some of them are more blatant, but some of them aren't. And I am one of them that has been noticing the different languages within the number system. Mm-hmm. I always have. Well, I've always had some kind of synchronicity, and it's kind of weird because even before I knew that they were synchronicities, mm-hmm. Or basically I took them as the universe checking in with me. And letting me know that I'm on the right path, because that's what I see when I see synchronicities with numbers with me, especially 1111. That number, a lot for me. That was my main activation number. And when 1111 started coming up, and I was listening to Cryon, and I think it was a light worker's handbook, and it might have just been another one of his shares on Lee Carroll, right? Yeah. Anyways, he was talking, and he said he was talking about the number 1111, and I looked at the clock and it was fucking 1111, and I thought my heart was gonna jump out. Like I about fell over, and the synchronicity just boom, it hit me so hard. And I knew that it was my message. And then when I went out, I got like 000, 999, 1111, 222, 333, like just boom, 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 boom. And I was like, am I being bombarded? Like at first,
I know some days are like that. Some day it's constant 1111, 111, 1010, 1212, 1234, 1 2 3 4. one, two, three. I get them as a lot of the times I get them in line, the one, two, three, four. But the majority of what I get are 44s. So whether it's 144, 244, 344, I'm always seeing the 44s. And so when I met with my friend last week, who is like this, she's really into numerology. She had me tell her my birthday, and she said, "You're not just a life path 8, you're a master number 44." And I was like, I didn't know, because you add, the 4 and the 4, I added up to 8. She said, no, when you get a master number, you stop and you can apply the 8, but you can also apply the 44. So both of those, and I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. So that makes a lot of sense. I never understood. I just, I knew that 44 was like, the divine feminine, that, I had this divine feminine energy. So anytime I see 44, whether I'm driving by, there's a property for sale right by me that says 44 acres for sale. And I'm like, one day, that's, 44 right there. So there's something about 44. And so to get that confirmation last week was really, really cool. So yeah, but there's definitely something going on with numbers, that's calling to us. And I think what it is that, we've talked about before, the English language can be messed with, or has been messed with, or has been designed to be like a spell. It's been designed to harness those energies and to cycle them somewhere else, or filter. I don't know,
I mean, yeah, just good
siphon them
morning.
somewhere else. So
Just think about the word good morning. Think about
yeah.
good morning even. Why would it be a good you mourn,
Yeah.
it's sad, it's depressing. So just think about it.
So I think
Sorry.
that the universe and our guides, our spirit team, whoever, the angels, whoever it is that that you communicate with, because everybody calls it something different, but it's just a different definition of a similar thing. So however they communicate with us, I think that they're finding ways around those tainted words. I think that they're using numbers as a way to do that. They're using visuals, they're using signs. There is a language behind everything. And when I figured out that there's a language behind color, that there's numbers behind color, I was like, holy crap. Like, look into like the new, I don't know what it's called, but color theory, but also numerology of colors, or something to do with numbers and colors that they tie in together. And the colors also correlate with our chakras as well. So it's so funny how everything is inverted. Oh, I look down at my card deck and look, 44.
No, I was going to go into more because when I woke up, it was my 44th year. When I woke up in 2020, I think, right? 2020 was my 44th year. And I got sober at 22. I was born in 77. I got sober in 1999. My dad was 77 when he died. My mom was 77 when she died. I could go on and on and on. There's so many numbers.
And it's
Like,
individual too. That's the thing. Is that I think there's a broad, understand, like 1111 appeals to a lot of people. 1010, repeating numbers tend to call to a lot of people. But I think individually we have our specific numbers. Like I relate to the number 13, the number 14, the number 76. I have my, which is interesting because the number 76 is the numbers of my name. So when I was younger, it was Rebecca, and I'm not even going to try to bring up my last name, my maiden name, but it was Rebecca, and then it was 6 letters for my last name. And when I got
yeah.
married, I didn't realize it, but I also have 6 numbers in my last name. So 76 has always resonated with me for whatever reason. But I think that it's just whatever we're connected to, the spirits are gonna use those numbers to kind of like
Sure.
say, hey, look over here. Like, oh, look, it's like seeing a caution sign, or seeing a not, I don't want to say caution because it's not something bad. You know what I mean? It's not something bad. I think it's just something that's highlighted. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they know that, so because they can tap into what what we are attached to. You know what I mean? They can tap into memories, that kind of thing. They know. And I've learned this through the mediumship is like the spirits can only use our database to help us to understand.
It's
So
our blue.
they can't explain something that we've never seen or we've never known because we're gonna be like, I don't know what that is. So they have to use what we are aware of in order to kind of play charades. And so using the numbers is kind of like a charades. It's like, hey, look over here, look over here. And it might not have a specific meaning other than I'm trying to get your attention for something. Kind of like when your ears start ringing. Um, when my ears start ringing, I think, okay, it's time to be quiet because I'm getting a message and I need to meditate. Or, I'm getting an upgrade or something along those lines. It doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, I'm going to get a clear message, get a pen, and I'm going to write it down. Sometimes that happens. Um,
Yep.
but other times it's just that I need to sit and be quiet because I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
Um, so it's all variable. But anyway, let's get back to the energy. As you can see,
Curious.
I've got my energy up. I'm all over the place.
That's good though, and you can feel the energy because you feel more alive. You feel like you want to go do stuff, and it'll fluctuate because sometimes, because we are bombarded, it does make you tired, especially for those people eating normally. I'm sure those people are exhausted because your body is using the energy to digest food as well as your body is using your body's energy to upgrade and turn into basically a live body, right? Our crystalline body, and it's doing that all at the same time. So that's why I fast. Like, I found fasting
Oh yeah.
a blessing for my body because I give my body a chance to integrate the upgrades that are coming in from the solar flares in the Schumann, from wherever it's coming in. And my body doesn't have to use the energy to digest food. I'm just using it for my own upgrades to activate um, our gifts, which is our clairvoyance, our clairsentience, our clairaudience. They're all being activated, and that's with everybody. Everybody's getting more intuitive. Everybody's going to turn more heart centered.
I'm just gonna
Um,
warn you now. She's testing the limits to see how far she can come. When that thing goes off, the dogs are gonna start going haywire. So when that
it's
happens,
fine.
yeah, she's
That's
she's trying to see how far she can get before she gets beeped. And the other one, she barks like no tomorrow if she gets beeped. So just fair warning, it's coming because she's the wild child, like I said. But I'm gonna burn a little
awesome.
Palo Santo here just to keep the positive vibes going. So oh my gosh, so much has been going on.
Yeah.
Um,
So into the energy update after a while. So go ahead and share about your dream because
Okay.
I was.
So this morning, normally on Mondays I go to my Reiki share, and this morning I did not, I didn't feel like it was necessary, not necessary. I did not feel like it was right for me to go today. So I just, said I'm not coming today. Um, I didn't have a specific reason. It was just that I felt that I needed to be home. And I slept full night last night, but this morning I just had this need to sleep more. And sometimes it's not even that we're tired, it's that we have work to do. And I realized that because I needed to, and I say so much. I need to stop myself. Um,
No.
um, 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 Let me get them all out. So I'm going to say so instead. So this morning I laid down and, it took me a little while. I have to get into a meditation. Sometimes I do some breathing where I'm counting to 8, holding, or I'm inhaling, hold for 8, exhale to 8, hold for 8, count of 8, that kind of thing. So that helps me to kind of get into the state that I need to be to do my spiritual work when I'm traveling in astral realms. So
Yeah.
I generally talk to my guides, my angels, Yeshua, whoever it is, that I incorporate into my spiritual team, or that I communicate with. And so when I'm going to sleep, I generally ask them for their protection. Well, I've changed the way that I communicate with them, and instead of asking them to shield me, to protect me, to do this, I'm now thanking them. and saying, thank you for being here. I love having you. I know that, that you're present. It makes me feel good to have you around. And I think that changing the way that I'm communicating with them, as opposed to, I need to be saved, I need to be safe, that kind of thing. They're there to do those things. I don't need to ask them constantly over and over and over. I can thank them. Yes, we do need to give our consent. I'm not saying, not, but to constantly be saying, protect me, then you're creating this need for protection. And I don't necessarily need to be protected. So I am just putting myself in a state of gratitude. So when I go to sleep, I incorporate them. I ask Yeshua to hold my physical body while I'm in the astral realms, and I ask Archangel Michael to guide me, to be by my side, to walk with me through the astral realms. So that way, I'm taking care of both sides of myself while I'm sleeping. So anyway, to get back to it. So I felt the need to rest this morning. So I went and rested. And in my dream, I'm trying to recall it. So I was in what felt like Atlantis or Lemuria or both at the same time, but also in this world at the same time. So maybe in multiple dimensions, but I was definitely underwater. There was a definite water feature to the whole scenario. And then there was some kind of a recording that was found, and it was singing, but it was also a message, and it was the water singing. In the dream, they found this recording of the water singing and communicating to us. And one of the messages in the water was, have they learned the science of numbers yet? They're not, have they awakened to, they're not going to be ready until they understand the numbers. And that was one thing that stuck out. Let me try to think if I can remember anything else of it. There was something about this girl and her mother, and something about the mother and child and daughter, mother-daughter relationship in my dream. And now of course I'm forgetting some of it. Oh, okay. All right. So there was a woman who had all of these sparkly things. It wasn't me, but I was in her body and I was seeing through her eyes. And I do this a lot in my dreams, is I'm in the dream and I'm in someone else and I'm watching. And she was so focused, hyper focused on glitz, glamour, shiny things. She had a desk that was a mile long, and and there was nothing on it. It was completely empty, but it was just about having big things and shiny things. And she kept going after all of these things, and the highest number she could reach was 1.8, and 1.8 million. 1.8 million was the highest she could ever earn for anything. 1.8 million. She could never get any higher than that. But she was so focused on all of these shiny things. So I woke up and I was like, 1.8 million. What does that mean? And I started thinking, and I was searching different things, and I couldn't come up with anything. But then I started listening to, my buddy Paul. I love listening to his transmissions in the morning. And I've said morning over and over. You notice that? It's the spell's been casted. And so I'm listening, and he's talking about 108. 108. 1.8. So I'm thinking the point is a zero. So 1.8, 108. And that to me is a message to focus on my mala, my meditation, to bring myself into a higher vibration. So something about, you can only reach this level of 108, and then, you know what I mean? Like she couldn't go any higher. She couldn't get anything more in the material world. She had to stop at 108. And I don't think that in that lifetime this woman realized that. But for me, what that message meant is that we can only get so far in the material world, and then we need to raise our vibration. Then we need to get to this point where we're meditating, where we are using the 108 beads to focus the meditation, to raise the vibration, that kind of thing. So, okay, and then the last message, the last part of the dream was talking about the Pleiadians and the Pleiadian message. So I remember waking up with like those three things in my mind: the science of numbers, the 108 or the 1.8, but I translate that to the 108. If anybody else has a different translation of the 1.8, maybe maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm not aware of something. So please let us know in the comments if you have another idea. I'm open. you know and then something about the Pleiadian message. So I wake up and I look up the Pleiadian message, um, and I put in, 1.8 and Pleiadian message. And it's funny because the tax form from the IRS came up for the Pleiadians. And I'm reading and I'm going, the IRS is aware of the Pleiadians and they're wanting to tax them. I'm like, what? That's strange. So I'm reading over the tax form. I'm like, what? That was interesting. But maybe it was just a business for the, representing the Pleiadians or whatnot. It might have been something like that. But I was like, how
Funny.
interesting is that? It's pretty funny that the IRS is aware, but of course they're going to be aware because they've got their hands in anything they can make money on.
Of course they
So
will. Absolutely.
anyway, but I definitely, if you have not watched the I'm not sure, I think it's Aurora Ray, the Pleiadian wake up call for the family of light. If you I know you've watched it, but if anybody's watching this and has not watched that, please, when this video is over, go and watch that. It's like 26 minutes, and if it resonates with you, I mean, that was one of the things in the beginning that really was like, whoa. She says wake
That
up,
was
and full body chills. I mean, full body chills all over. I mean, it starts kind of wonky and you're like, okay, I don't know what this is about, right? But at the end you're like, holy crap, I need more of that. Like it's like
exactly.
I could listen to it over and over and over. Um so anyway, that was my dream. That was all I've got on that. So
Amazing. And I love it because you can remember so well. I usually don't remember, but a lot of it has to do with smoking. And I just saw 2222 on the camera, which is or on our timer.
mhm.
Anyways, yeah, the Pleiadian wake up
Since you're
call,
bringing it up.
2222. Yeah. Oh no, Barbara. I was thinking Barbara. I can't pronounce her last name, but I have her book, and she wrote that book. And it's the Bringers of the Light or Bringers of the Dawn. Sorry, Bringers of the Dawn, and that's where the Pleiadian wake up call came from. That book. All of it's in that book.
What is
They
it called?
took.
I don't have a notepad. Will you
I
share
have
that in
the.
the description and or in the comments or something below so that I can look it up later? Okay.
I will, and it's Barbara. I can't pronounce her last name, but yeah, Bringers of the Dawn. I have it, and I'll share the video as well
Okay.
in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the entire video activates you on because most of us are Pleiadian because a lot of us come from Pleiades. And Pleiades, there's multiple, you have to understand there's multiple planets there. So it's not just one planet in the Pleiades, it's many. There's 11 main
Yeah. Well,
planets.
it's a 7-star system, right? The Seven Sisters or something like that it's called. So if
Seven,
you can imagine, we have one star as our central sun. You know what I mean? So if they've got 7, there's got to be more planets around them. And just because we don't see them doesn't mean they're not there.
they're
Just so
here.
you know.
It's in DNA. We are them. I mean, and as our DNA is being activated, we have different we have been created by many beings. Like we have a reptilian brain, so we do have reptilian in our body. It's
Well, what
just
is it that Abdullah? I circle back to that. I circle back to that movie with Adam Sandler, the Water Boy, when he's talking about the alligator or something like that. So it always reminds me that we have this like implant.
Mama said though.
Um,
Mama.
yeah, mom, foosball. Um, but we have this implant, whether it's a genetic implant, whether it's something that that's part of our DNA that we're born with, or whether it's something that's artificial. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a geneticist. I don't know how all that works, but we definitely have this add on, this part of us that does have that reptilian part of us. To deny that we have that is probably not very smart because
It's our fight or
you know
flight mode. That's
well,
where,
well, we
it's
we have a shadow side. We have the ego, and we have these things that people are like, I have to get rid of my ego. And my feeling is that no, you don't have to get rid of your ego. Your ego is part of you, but identifying the difference between yourself and the hijacker, the reptilian mind, or the I don't know what you want to call it, dinosaur mind, or your monkey mind, or whatever you call it. There's definitely a speaker in your head. I know there is in mine that takes over and wants to run you on this hamster wheel constantly. And so identifying the difference between yourself and your individual self as your authentic ego, your authentic self, and then this monkey mind, or whatever you want to call it, and then separating the two. So when I'm in meditation, I don't just say, okay, I'm going to quiet my mind. No, I tell that thing, that entity, whatever, to take a seat and be quiet and watch. That I'm not going to be able to disassociate with it because it's part of me. Maybe one day I'll be able to get it to turn off, completely, but I have not achieved that yet. Maybe there are some who are capable of that, but I think this idea that we're going to be able to get rid of our ego is a little of a distraction. We need to, identify and be aware that there is an ego. It is part of us, but it doesn't have to be in control of us. That we are the ones in control, and we can tell it, sit down, be quiet, and I don't want to hear what you have to say. So when I first started in meditation, I had to learn how to identify it and become aware of it and say, okay, am I creating that thought, or is that thought coming from somewhere else? And that's kind of how you become aware of the difference. And so with practice of doing that, you can see the difference in that. And so once you get more control over it, you can kind of tell it, okay, I'm in control now, and you're going to listen to me, and you're going to be quiet, or you're going to, I'm not interested in your thought. And sometimes that thought will not stop. And so I will just watch the trail, and it doesn't like to be watched. So it stops. So those are some
exactly.
some little tricks to get
Well,
your mind
a
off
lot
it.
of those are a lot of that is thought forms. When I first woke up and I took spiritual healing, thought forms are actual entities that we can create. And what's funny about thought forms is there's generally a ton of thought forms just floating around, and we have a built-in antenna that picks up on all those thoughts. So some of the thoughts that we pick up on
Yeah.
aren't even our own,
Yeah.
but
Oh
we
my
have a
gosh.
built-in.
When the thing that shall not be named was real big, and they were talking about the thing, the thingy. I was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden I started thinking, maybe I should go get that. Maybe I should go get that. It won't hurt me. I'll go get it. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's not me. That is not me. That's not my thought. Because that goes against all of my beliefs. The body can heal itself, and that all of that stuff. So I'm getting these thoughts, and I'm going, that's not coming from me. That's coming from the subliminal underlying message that I'm picking up on. And so realizing, okay, wait a minute. But there's a
Broadcast.
lot of people who aren't aware of that. And so they follow blindly, thinking that these are their thoughts. And then they're like, I don't understand, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Well, because we're not stopping and assessing, is that my authentic thought? Is that coming from love, or is that coming from fear? If you're operating out of fear,
Or
then that's
autopilot.
generally not your authentic thought. That is
Auto,
probably coming from propaganda. So,
well, our autopilot. We
mhm,
have an autopilot.
mhm,
We have an autopilot.
yeah.
So when our autopilot is switched on, that's when basically that's the people that do what they're told without being questioned. That's the people that
We get into
why
a
are you
meditative space when we're driving, and that's why we get a lot of these messages through the radio. We get into a meditative space when we're watching television. That they've done studies where people cannot stay conscious, fully conscious, watching TV for more than a couple of minutes, that they go into a different state. And in that altered state, you are more susceptible to um,
Me.
hypnosis, to underlying messages, to propaganda. So in those states, they know that, and they're using that as a way for marketing, as a way for getting you to do things that you wouldn't normally consciously choose to do. And so it's important to be aware, and not put ourselves in those situations. And if you're getting a thought, sometimes I just want to watch TV, but I have to be aware that if I get these thoughts, that what am I going to do with them? Okay, well, I'm going to assess them. I'm going to look at them before I act on them. If I'm thinking, okay, I'm hungry because I've watched TV and there's a bunch of commercials, and every commercial is for Hardee's showing me a hamburger, and I'm going, I don't like beef that much. So why am I craving hamburger? Well, maybe because I watched 20 commercials talking about hamburgers. So I have to assess, is this something I truly want? Is it something that's going to assist me? Is it something that's going to make me feel good? Or
Well, this is
is it something that somebody else wants me to do?
well, they put stuff in our food, in our air, in our water called parasites, and if we don't clean ourselves out, they just sit in our gut and tell us what to do all the time.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I was watching a reel earlier today, of a not an herbalist. What do you call the neuropathic doctor, who was talking about uh now I lost it. Was talking about gut health, and that a lot of these autoimmune diseases are stemming from the bacteria, the parasites, the things that are going on in our gut, and then it takes years for them to try to find a way out. So we're eating these things that have parasites that have, they deworm our animals, they deworm dogs, but do you go yearly and get dewormed? No, because you read the bottle and you go, oh, not for humans. There's a reason they don't want you to cleanse your body out. So, I was just talking to a friend about this. I said, I take goat dewormer. Um, it might be weird. People might think that that's strange, but I will tell you that if I'm getting, because I get IBS symptoms if I ingest something that I shouldn't be ingesting. And immediately I take the dewormer, and within 20 minutes, those symptoms are gone. I get sulfur burps. I get, an overload of this sulfuric acid going on, and I'll take the dewormer, and then it cancels it out. It allows my body to release that. So, that might be weird for some people to go to
Well,
those kind of extremes, but
can also take activated charcoal,
mhm.
and it's not actual charcoal from the ground. It's usually taken from coconuts, and then also Q-certin. Q-certin's really big if you have cold symptoms and stuff like that. It doesn't clean your body. See, your body will automatically clean itself out because it's a biological computer and it already knows what isn't meant for it. It will make you sick.
Mhm.
But
Turmeric.
parasites
Turmeric is
parasites
antiparasitic, and it helps clear your body out. Um, It helps so much. So I started off with a little bit of turmeric powder, turmeric oil, because oil helps your body to absorb it. Now I am putting actual turmeric from the store, like a piece about this big, in my smoothie with a piece that big of ginger. Putting that in my smoothie, and then putting hemp oil to get that oil component, because what people don't realize is that your body needs other things to assist these things to work appropriately. So make
is
sure that
great.
you're researching. Hmm?
Avocado oil and avocado oil, it's really expensive. There's a reason for that. And so is coconut oil and olive oil. Those are like so good for us. And that's why they're
Yeah.
expensive.
Well, and
They
vegetable oil is inflammatory. It is, we're wondering why we have all of these aches and pains and things, and you're frying up your food in vegetable oil, which is hugely inflammatory, or even just putting it in salad dressing. Just plain vegetable oil is extremely health uh, um, not good for your health. So I would suggest not using that kind of thing. So anyway, I don't know. Did I talk about the lady last week who said something? Oh, I did, about my body. Um, so I am currently, incorporating these things into my diet, and it takes a minute. You know what I mean? It's taken me 37 years to develop the body that I have. Every 7 years we shed our entire body. Everything's brand new. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at 4 years of off all psychiatric medications. I'm looking at a year off of aluminum deodorant. And it's only been 3 weeks off of chemical deodorant. So that is affecting me. Oh my gosh, my armpits have gone through so much in the last 3 weeks. But I mean, from dark spots to, I mean, the skin peeling off to lumps of heavy, which I believe are heavy toxins, heavy metals coming out
Yeah.
of my
And
arm.
now,
Um,
and there's a
but
reason why. There's a reason why. Okay. So it's very important too, if you can. And I saw that you have more products up, and I actually want to link to your store on here too, so that people can go and
yeah,
get the products that are homemade, holistically made with love and really good intentions.
and
And that's
I don't currently have a website, but I do have a Facebook group. It's Gypsy Herbals. And that's my, or Facebook page. It's Gypsy
that's
Herbals.
like
I would like to get a page up eventually. We need to talk about doing that at some point, me and you, Joy. But I can ship any of my products to the United States. I think Canada and Mexico I can ship as well, but it is a little trickier. I've tried shipping before to Mexico and things just don't quite go as well. But anything that is alcohol, that contains alcohol, like the tinctures and the sprays, those I have to run ground, and the shipping is quite expensive if you're not close to the Atlanta area. So, I do ship. So just send me a message and I'd be happy to send
yeah.
anybody anything. And I'm constantly getting into something different because I see it and then I do it. That's the thing. I used to see people doing all these things and I go, "Oh, that's too much." But I realized that it's just one thing at a time. I had clover growing in my backyard before I mowed my lawn. And I have not allowed my husband to spray the lawn this year, not yet. He keeps wanting to. And I'm like, no, don't do it yet. Don't do it, because the clover is good for the pollinators. I have so many bees in my backyard that are pollinating on these clovers. So I look up, what are the clovers good for before I mow the lawn? So I go out there and I'm picking all these clovers. Well, clovers reduce fever. They are good for cold and cough symptoms. There's so many other benefits to them if you look them up. So I went and I picked a whole bunch of them and I've dried them out, and I'm got them waiting. I don't know whether I'm going to make a tincture or an oil. I might make both. But that's what I do. I just do one thing at a time. I'm like, oh, that looks good. Let me look it up and see what I do with it. Some people that's overwhelming, and so if that's the case, then I'd be more than happy to sell my products. But for some people, they want to do it themselves. And if you want to do it yourself, I'm all for that. I would prefer people to do it for themselves, but a lot of people don't have the time. A lot of people don't know how to use they don't know how to use these apps that are plant identifying apps, and then Google and all of those things. It's just too much. So, and I understand that. It was for me for a long time, but I'm at the point now where I don't want to put any of this stuff in my body anymore. I don't want to put um you know I don't want to put these chemicals in my body anymore. So it's going to take a while to get rid of a lot of these things, but I'm working on it. So
Exactly. And it all is just a work in progress. When I began my journey, my health journey has, I mean, it spanned decades. When I first, back in the day, I literally was sick all the time. I was just talking about this with my husband too, because I was sick all the time. I was always getting tests done. It was always the next blood test. It was always what's wrong with me. It was always, you know, I don't feel good. What's going on with me? But I never, like at the time, I saw a PA and she told me to eat healthier. This is in South Dakota, not California, by the way, because in California they just give you pills. But out
yeah.
there, they were like, you need to watch your diet and lower your blood. And of course, I'm just like, yeah,
But they
right,
don't
like that.
they don't tell you how to do that. They just say change the food you're eating. They don't
They
tell
don't,
you
they don't,
change from food with chemicals to foods that are not having chemicals in them. I mean, You can
I
go to the
mean,
grocery store and make a choice, and you're going to pay more for better food. That's the thing. They don't want us well.
they exactly, you pay more for the better food. That's a fact. And so they want you on pills and stuff, but there's a reason, you know? And but it's been a long journey for myself. Like I gave up soda in
Hmm.
I want to
Yeah.
say 2018, 2019. I started cutting out soda completely. And
Yeah,
that was like
I've never been a big soda drinker. My my husband drinks nothing but beer and soda. So when we first started getting together, it was like sweet tea, beer. I mean, he was drinking beer. I didn't really drink, but it was sweet tea and soda. So I switched from water to sweet tea and soda, because that's what he was drinking. And it's like I mimicked him. I wanted to become him, and in that I kind of lost myself. So now I'm like, I just drink water. I drink water and smoothies and a little bit of sweet tea occasionally. I am in the South. I can't help it. Occasionally I get a taste for it.
yeah,
But what I
think our
noticed is that if you go to a restaurant, you go to a fast food place, you don't get a lot of options for healthy drinks. Um, a lot of the time, even the bottled water is something that has additives in it. So you have to be conscious, or you're getting, tap water, which, you know, I don't know if you want to drink tap water, but do you realize that when you're ordering water at the restaurant, they're not filtering. They're just getting it right out of the tap. I mean, maybe some places do. I don't know what everybody does, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of the places around here, it's just simply tap water. So,
yeah,
going out to eat, you have to be conscious of everything, including your drinks, because I mean, and we're not talking calories. I'm not conscious of what calories mean because they mean nothing to me. I'm not changing the way I eat so that I lose weight. I'm not, I need to go to the gym, I need to work out. It has nothing to do with that. It's that I don't want my body to be sick. It's that I don't want to go through these symptoms. I don't want to be, no, of course I don't want to be overweight. I've struggled with my weight since my near death experience. It's like I came into this body, I walked in and I didn't know how to handle it. And I used food as a way, and also the medications that they
they
jacked me
make
up on, they
the
made
food.
me hungry. And so I'm working on, you know, 14 years, well, I guess it's 10 years of heavy, I mean, talking 7 or 8 medications a day, of these antipsychotics, and we're talking like heavy, like lithium and Seroquel, those kinds of medications that are extremely, like, they tell you literally this is going to take a couple years off your life when you take this. You're gonna, but you'll be sane, but you're gonna die sooner. And I'm going, I don't know that I want to give that up. I think I'd rather just be my crazy self and live, the appropriate amount of time. So anyway, I was on that stuff for 10 years, and it's been about 4 years now. It's May 4 years ago that I just cut cold turkey and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I didn't stop because I wanted to be spiritual. I didn't stop because of anything. I just realized I don't like the way this stuff makes me feel anymore. And every time I go to the doctor, they want to add another medicine or they want to increase my medicine. And I was like, I've had enough of this. And the thing is that they change the doctor so often. So, someone will quit, someone will move to another practice, and then you have to start all over with someone you've been working with for 4 years, and then all of a sudden you're at ground zero with somebody completely new, and they want to change every single medication that you've been on for the last 4 years and then increase them all each time you go see them. So I went through that for 10 years of working with people and then losing them. And I said, I have had enough. I've had enough. I no longer want to live this life of searching for someone to understand what I'm going through. I'm going to take care of it myself. And so I stopped, and I did it on my own, and it might not have been the best way because I went through a lot um, of symptoms, and I'm still dealing with them. But at the time, it was what I needed to do. I wouldn't suggest my path to anyone else. Do it the right way, not with a doctor, please. with a health conscious doctor, with a what do they call them, neuropath, or some a health someone that is holistic and focused on your health. Utilize that kind of thing. Don't go to your psychiatrist and say, okay, I'm ready to get get off of all these medications, because they're gonna be like, no. That's their job, is to tell you that you have to be on these medicines. So, but you have that power. That's what I realized. But you have that power it's your body. You can make the decision. Don't let a doctor say you have to be on this. Because, you're hiring them. You're the one that goes to them for them to tell you what to do. So stop.
It's,
Choose different doctors,
yeah,
choose different methods, choose different things that are better for you. Um, so anyway, I'm still in the process of my body healing itself, and it will, and it is. But it's going to take some time. And no, I'm not 144 pounds. I haven't weighed myself, but I'm probably closer to 200. So, I'm happy with that. It's not where I was. I was up to like 240, 250 4 years ago. So I've lost quite a bit of weight. Uh, my clothes fit better. I'm comfortable. I can wear a bikini in my backyard. I'm not going to the pool to wear a bikini in front of other people, just because I don't have that confidence yet. But and I'm a mom. I don't really want to be in a bikini. My husband wants me to go wash his car in a bikini, and I'm like, no. That's so inappropriate. He's like, but it's my fantasy. And I'm like, well, if you could pull the car in the backyard, then come on.
the backyard's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, just recently. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the shift that's going on now.
Okay. And I'm just shuffling some cards here. So
because masculine has taken masculine's going through some stuff. Now I'm not talking about okay. So first of all, this collective energy, first of all. So it's not going to resonate for everybody. And there are many energies, but the only energies I'm attempting to tap into right now are separated. Is that what I want to?
Joined but separated?
There's no, because there's divine masculine, but right now there is not divine. What am I trying to think of? Like weakened, separated.
The lower masculine?
3D masculine. I guess the matrix.
The physical, the
there's a word for it, and I can't think of the dang word. It's like weakened or something masculine. It's not. I don't
wounded. The wounded masculine.
Thank you. Wounded masculine. So wounded masculine right now is going through huge transformation on this planet.
Oh my gosh, I'm seeing it in my husband. Oh my god.
Well, this could affect some divine masculine on certain levels. So I'm just going to throw it out there. And this is also, there is no gender in energy. It's masculine energy. So it could be.
We all embody the masculine and feminine.
It could be a male. It could be a female. There's no gender. So just so everyone is aware. So the wounded masculine is going through a huge transformation on this planet right now. They are actually starting to look within and realize that they don't have control over what's going on around them. And they're also recognizing that everything that's going on around them is some kind of divine orchestration playing out. They're starting to recognize that everything that has been, that they have gone through, the relationships, the jobs, the family relationships, expectations to outcomes, attachments, they're starting to recognize all of these different things on a major level. They don't understand everything, but they are recognizing that it's real. They're starting to recognize that there is a grand orchestration at play. They're starting to recognize that as there is darkness moving on this planet, as there is light, as within, so without, as above, so below. It's working its way out. Yes, there is a negative dark agenda. Yes, there is a positive light agenda as well. And the wounded masculine is starting to recognize that they are part of some kind of orchestration that's playing out. They haven't quite put their finger on it. They don't understand it, but they're starting to feel it because they can no longer control their emotions the way they were before.
Mhm.
Now, that's very interesting. It's not that they're getting weaker, it's that the vibration is raising inside. And when the vibration raises, it pushes.
We're in a mirror reality where the opposite is the truth. So where you think weaker, you're actually becoming stronger. So when you're becoming vulnerable, you're actually finding your strength. So for the
Actually,
masculine, they're taught that you have to be this physically, Mr. Macho and that kind of thing. And in reality, in order to be more masculine, you have to become vulnerable. You have to open up. You have
and
to connect with the feminine.
you have
That's the
and
authentic masculine, the higher masculine.
correct. And what's happening is that these wounded masculines are discovering that they may have a divine masculine, which they are. Every single person on this planet has a divine spirit. Not everybody's tapped into it. Not everybody's been taught about it, but we can feel it. And the higher the vibration raises on this planet due to the solar flares and the Schumann and everything else that's going on, they're going to start tapping into those emotions and they're no longer able to stuff them down. They're finding out that they can no longer deny them. They can no longer put them in the back burner. They can no longer just work their way through it the way they used to.
Yeah.
They used to just dive into work and it was fine. They can't do that anymore. They're starting to discover that they have to feel whatever it is that's going on. And it's making them feel extremely uncomfortable and unstable. And so they're looking to the feminine to balance that out. A lot of times they're looking outside of themselves. And this is where us feminines have to step in and we have to push them back and say, no, you need to look at yourself. It's not an external thing that you're looking for. It's not an external validation that you need. It's an internal validation that you already have. But a lot of people in relationships are going to look outside. Now, single people are obviously going to look within more. They're going to look in the mirror more. Um, but I believe that most people that have a counterpart on this planet are going to be activated at this time to move forward towards that counterpart, whether it's the person that they're with or it's somebody new coming in. But more than likely, this person, the counterpart that's coming in, is someone that you already know. They already know. Um, it's somebody that they've already connected with. It's probably someone that they've had a bond with. And so this isn't going to resonate for everyone because a lot of people don't look for the past to their future. And I understand that too, because I'm not looking for the past. See, that's the hard part with my husband is I don't want him to think that I'm not looking for him in the future. But what I am is open to whatever comes in the future. I'm not holding on or attached to any type of expectation or outcome, but I'm open for the energies to come in and bring me what I need to know at this time. But wounded masculine is, and I gotta say, wounded feminine's growing by leaps and bounds at this moment. They're no longer, I mean, and that could be for feminine too. So flip the roles as well. I mean, if it's vice versa, flip it, twist it, reverse it, however it fits to resonate with your situation.
Flip the
You know,
script.
it exactly. So
Well,
yeah,
I will say that I can definitely see that um, in my husband. And, this is not me not acknowledging my divine masculine inside. I think that it took me a long time to realize that I needed to fix connect with myself, heal what's going on within me before I was going to see anything with him. And so I have taken the focus off of him and I put the
yep,
focus on me. And now
yep,
I'm sitting back and I'm watching because as I'm working on myself, focusing on what brings me joy, doing the things that bring me joy. I'm watching as he's changing. No, he is not perfect. No, he is not. and neither am I. That's the thing. Neither of us are perfect, but we are perfectly imperfect. We are exactly how we are meant to be. And so I am learning how to focus on me and then watch him at the same time. And so I'm watching him change. And whether it's just simple things, and that's the thing, we have to be grateful for all the little things, because each little thing that we're grateful for is going to bring another little thing, another little thing. And before you know it, that's established a pattern, and then that becomes a big thing. So be grateful for the flowers, be grateful for the not just flowers from him. I mean, he could pick me a flower on the side of the road and I would appreciate that better than him going to the store and buying me some, because it means that he spent a moment where he saw something beautiful and then he thought of me and he wanted to bring that home and then share that with me. So those are the little things I'm seeing, but the conversations are changing, where 2 years ago we would go out to dinner and I would sit across from him and I would think we have nothing in common. Like, what are we even doing? And now the conversations, we can't stop talking. We have so much to talk about. And no, it's not about my spiritual stuff, because he's still not ready to experience that. But I am my authentic self with him. And I do talk about the things, whether he understands them or not, but I'll preface it with, you're not going to
Yeah.
understand this, but this is what that means. So I'm expressing myself. But we were driving to, 'cause it was our 9-year wedding anniversary this past week, and we were driving out to dinner. And he started talking about how he wants to stop drinking. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not saying anything. Like, but I was like, I'm really proud that you're having this conversation, that I'm not leading it. I'm not doing anything about it. Do I put expectations on him to stop drinking? Absolutely not. Do I think that it would be beneficial for him? Absolutely. I think it would help us to connect a lot better, because it is a disconnect. It is something that makes it so he's not quite here. But the interesting thing is that in one of my mediumship sessions, he came through in his higher self and told me to get more amethyst, that would bring him out more. And amethyst, as we've talked about, is the sobriety stone. So I've done that. I've gotten more amethyst. I put it by his bedside, and now I'm watching as he's changing. Not that I'm the one doing it; he's the one directing this, and I'm just
Right.
the vehicle for it to happen. So, but to have him have this conversation about, he's aware that his drinking is no longer serving him. That was the point. Not that he's stopping drinking, that
Yeah.
he is becoming aware that he doesn't want to do it, that he doesn't like the way it makes him feel. It's not working. He's becoming aware of these things. And to hear him talk like that brings so much joy to me, because it's not me saying, you're drinking, you need to stop. You're doing this, you need to stop. It's him saying, I don't like this behavior. I see what it does. I'm witnessing the pattern and I want to change it. I'm not ready to change it, but I want to change it. And that desire is what's sparking in him a change. So I'm just sitting back and watching without expectations. I'm going to continue focusing on myself and what I'm doing. And if he sobers up, that would be wonderful. If he doesn't, I love him the same, because I realize that he's using it as a tool so that he can work in the spiritual realm as well. When he's disconnected from his body, he is able to do things. But I think that he's coming to the point, and I'm hoping that he's coming to the point where he's ready to be in union in the physical world. We're not there yet, you know. I'm I'll be honest, I'm not there yet within myself. I still have a lot of work to do. So for me to expect that we're going to be in this, twin flame union, um, I, I have to work on me. I have to be in a place where I'm complete, and I don't honestly think that's I'm going to be complete, and when I'm complete, then it's going to be time to go. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this is all an experience, and that's one of the things that when I've asked my guides, what's going on with my husband, what's going on with me, what's happening with our relationship. It's the answer that I've gotten is that I signed up for this. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a lifelong challenge, and we've signed up for this together. Um, do I want to label it twin flames? No. Do I feel like he's my divine counterpart? Yes. But in the same sense, if something were to happen to him, he would come back in another form. So that's where people don't understand with this twin flame thing. Your twin flame has nothing to do with the physical person. That person's soul can walk in, walk out. That's what happened with me. Is I was someone else before my near death experience. My soul, or the soul that was within me, I was a narcissist. I was self-centered. I went through all these things, but I that part of me had to leave, and then this person that I am now, the I am that I am, walked in. So that may happen with a near death experience with someone else. That might happen with just a whoa moment. I don't know exactly how those work, but to think, okay, this person is my one and only, that's not necessarily true. We come together in these souls in different forms in different ways, and so that person will be in your life. That's why they say, if you don't work out the things that you work out in this relationship, you're going to experience them again in the next relationship, because we're the same people in different bodies. We're the same spirits in different bodies, because we're all one. We're just different expressions of the one. So we're going to find the same energy in someone else, whether it's anyway. That's getting a little deep for today.
No, and everyone has their own. That's the most important thing, is not to look outside yourself for your own truth, because you have your own truth. Everybody has their own truth, and everybody has their own path, and not everybody is going to resonate with you, and not everybody's going to even like you. And so what?
Yeah, well, and people are going to see things differently. My it's we're all playing charades and trying to translate what it means to us based on our knowledge. So what it means to me and how I describe it might sound completely different because it's not in your wheelhouse, but it might be the same thing. It just sounds different. It might be the exact same experience, but to you, you're going to experience it completely different.
Yeah. And I think that, this
Oh.
just goes back to where we need to be our most authentic self, our truest expression of who we are. And once we can figure out who that is, and like a lot of us, like me, I'm healing, just like you said. I'm not prepared for union at all. I am working on myself. I mean, a couple months ago, even sometimes today, I don't want to live. Like, it's not that I want to die, I just don't want to live. I don't want to hurt anymore. And that's part of my BPD also that I have to deal with. Wounded as fuck. You don't want to get into something where you're in lack. You don't want to make a commitment with someone else when you guys are on a lower level, because it you will go through so many changes.
Mhm.
I'll just say that. But truly, if you got to find who you are, your highest expression of self. And we can't do that when we're with other people most of the time. So you and we're trying to get and tap into our highest expression while we're still being interfered with, and what is the word?
Hijacked.
Not hijacked, but they're influencing us.
Mhm.
There's
Well,
people.
there's so many distractions. There's so many things that are meant to distract us and keep us
We
from
need
going within.
we
Oh,
need to
look,
focus.
it's shiny. Ooh, look, shiny, shiny.
And I am ADHD too. I'm on that train. I fucking know. I'm like, who's shiny? I'm over here with that squirrel over there. But the truth is to find your highest expression, and we can't do that while attaching to external people, places, or things, expectations. Like in step one, you've got to drop your expectations and understand that you don't have power or control over anything except yourself. You have no control over anything except yourself. And once you understand that, you can focus on that, because you only have control over yourself.
Mhm. Well, and a lot of the times we don't have control over ourselves. I mean, that's the thing. We're trying to control other people because we don't know how to control ourselves. I mean, I was for a long time, I was out of control emotionally. I was out of control spiritually. And so by trying to control the physical world around me, I was trying to get some sense of safety, some sense of control. And this is modeled behavior. That's me watching my mother and my family members and seeing them do the same thing, because if you have money, you're safe. If you have if everybody around you, if you have, if you're controlling everybody and everybody's doing what you want them to do, then you feel safe. And those are things that I have witnessed, and then things that I modeled. So it's learned behavior that needs to be unlearned, and I'm slowly unlearning those things. I realized that my marriage, this was the first anniversary that I think we've had that we've actually celebrated in 9 years that we've been married, where we weren't fighting, where there wasn't chaos, there wasn't like last year I was filing for divorce on our anniversary. Um, calling different lawyers to file for divorce, and this year I'm going, okay, thank God we are where we are. But things change. They're constantly changing, and I don't know where I was going with that. It's
No,
just
that
your brain.
needed to be said because everybody's going through something right now, and you got to understand that that's what shifting is all about. That's what ascension is all about. It's bringing in new ways of thinking and perceptions and new life and new jobs and new relationships and new people, and just try not to have. And that's the hardest thing. I was talking to my husband last night, trying not to have attachment to where we're going to be in the future. It's really hard to do that. Like, it's really like, how
Oh,
can we live today without having expectations on our outcome?
so a lot of my we were talking about distractions before. A lot of the issues that I've had in my relationship have been because of outside distractions, outside influences, whether it's my mother in my head, whether it's a psychic reading that is coming from darkness in the shade of light and I'm not aware of it. So I have to be careful of that, because there are a lot of readers out there who are not working in the light. So I have to constantly make sure that I am working in the light, that I'm announcing that I am in setting that intention, so that the anything that is not of the highest light will be shown to me clearly. I need to set that intention that I become aware of anything that is not in my highest good, because I that was a lot of the reason that I was going through what I was going through, is because I got a reading that said, "Get out, leave him now." Um, and now I realize 2 years later that that psychic, um, I saw a shift in her eyes. I saw something that wasn't so good, and I was like, something's not right with her. I don't know,
I'm
you know.
not ever. I'm a reader, and I'm going to tell you right now, I cringe at that because I would never tell anybody what they need to do. Absolutely not. I'm going to read the energy
And I
as I
didn't know
see it.
that at the time. This was
Like
like at the
you.
beginning of my waking up. And I'm just, when I first woke up, oh my gosh, I found out what not to do real fast, real fast. I started
Sorry.
I started communicating with these people through this YouTube channel with Daniel Scranton, the wisdom of the coming in the wisdom of the ages. I found this site, and it turned out that they were Luciferian, and I had no idea. And I'm not saying that Daniel Scranton or any of that, or that website, but I felt like through different channels I got connected, and it's so easy to find the wrong place that you don't belong in, and you have to use discernment. I learned how to use discernment by doing the wrong thing. Um, and I'm grateful for those experiences. So I'm
Well,
not saying
usually
like be afraid of anything. We have to go through those things so that we know what's good for us and what's not good for us. Just don't attach to anything that's outside of yourself. That's the most important thing, is that you can use all of these things as tools. Um, but if it doesn't resonate, then put the tool down. If the screwdriver is not the right size, it's not the right shape, then get the right tool. You're not going to use a Phillips head where you need a flathead. Um, it's that simple. So maybe that path was not for me for a reason, but I needed to go down it so that I could learn that.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
I had to learn what not to do before I could see what
So,
to do. And going within, following my own guidance is honestly the most authentic thing I can do. So yeah, you can use things as a tool, or they can use you. So
mhm. But yeah, like I was gonna say, the baddies are the loudest. The baddies are the ones that are gonna go in your DMs. The baddies are the ones that are going to be, I'm over here, get a reading. I'm not like that. You can come to me and email me for a reading, and I'm happy to give all of the information to whoever. That's how it works with me. I'm
Well, and
never
that's
gonna
how I am with Reiki too. That's why I don't advertise myself. I don't go out to people and
put
say, "Hey,
myself
you
out
need
there,
Reiki."
myself
If
on.
it resonates and I'm meant to work with you to help you heal yourself, you will come to me and I would be more than happy to work with you. But I do not outsource, I do not advertise, I do not reach out to other people. And no, I don't have a huge business. I have a very small business. I make $20 or $25 here, $50 there. I make a little bit here and there. Um, but I don't, it has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with helping other people who want the help. And if somebody's coming to me for help, I don't care if we do an energy exchange. I don't really, it does not matter to me what the payment is, as long as I can assist in some way. There are these spiritual people out there that are like, you need to be charging $200, 275,
Oh,
this or that. And that's great for them if that's how they value themselves in that. But that's just not my path. That's not how I work. I work
that's
on
scary
a sliding
to me.
scale because that's what I need. You know what I mean? That's how I operate. And if something's $777, I can't afford it. Maybe someone else can, and that will be the path for them. So I work with what I need. So there are some people out there that need a $177 healing, and they want to pay that, and they're willing to pay that, and that might be the thing for them. But because I can't afford that and can't see myself spending that money on that, I don't offer that kind of thing. If you want to pay me $7.77, we can do a $7.70 work of art. You know what I mean? Like I, I can filter what I do into smaller things so that it's more affordable, or do some kind of a energy exchange, whether it's just you sending me Reiki, me sending you Reiki, or just love, energy. It doesn't have to be money. It can be,
That's how
smaller things.
I put myself out there, and I have my prices, and I'm willing to work with anybody. Though it's not about, like, I know that the people who have it will be able to pay that, and I know that the people that won't, and I'm totally helping people that don't have the money to do that, because when I first woke up, all I wanted so badly was to talk to one of these teachers, and one of them was like, it was $1,000 for her class, and I was like, how can you do that but help humanity? How are you helping humanity by helping yourself like that? And it really put a bad taste in my mouth. And so a lot of the spiritual teachers, I had to just watch out, because they're still in it for self.
Mhm.
I like, when I first started with Elizabeth April, and I think her membership was like $10 a month on YouTube. I
Mhm.
had no problem paying that. That was
Yeah.
great.
And I
And
that's
I
why I love Paul White Gold Eagle, because he doesn't have a set. You can pay $5, you can pay $200, you can pay $1,000, you can pay whatever you
whatever
choose.
can.
And I've spoken to him and we discussed, what he asked me what I thought about monetary, and he took my suggest I don't know, I'm sure he's talked to other people, but he's open to listen to suggestions. And he said, what do you feel, with money or whatever. And I was like, I like the donation idea, because then it allows people to choose what they are willing to do. And when I started with him, I was paying $200 a month because it resonated with me. Now I can't afford that. I still contribute what I can when I can, because I believe in his mission. But that's my choice to do so. Nobody's requiring me that. He gives his stuff away for free, and I choose to donate because I'm getting something out of it, as a way to say thank you and as an energy exchange. And if someone gets something out of what I'm doing and they feel called to return with some kind of an energy exchange, then I appreciate that. And that's how I like to operate. I don't
If you do
require it.
magic, I've experienced doing a reading, and they were like, oh, I'm gonna send you this box and all this stuff, and they never fucking did. So I mean, you gotta look out for that shit. People are just out to use you. So the thing is, I would say, if I would just say, if you're willing to do a reading like that, you're basically, I mean, I pulled that card.
No
Expect
thanks.
fucking nothing. Expect nothing
Yeah.
back
But the thing
because
is that the universe is going to repay you regardless. You
it's
might not get that money from that person, but because you put in the energy, you're going to receive it. Whatever we put out, we're going to get back. It might not be from that person, it might be from the next person. And that's why I'm always interested in paying it forward, always
this
interested in helping people who can't afford things. There's a friend of mine who she recently went through a surgery, and I said, let me send you a care package of my herbal products. Not because I'm trying to advertise myself, but because you're going through something. I don't want anything in return. This is just because I feel like I'm being called to do it, and I want to. So there are things when I choose to do that kind of thing as well, and it has nothing to do with me trying to propagate myself. I just genuinely want to assist where I can. Maybe that keeps me small, maybe that keeps me where I'm meant to be. You know what I mean? Like, I have food on my plate. I have a few dollars in the bank. I have a roof over my head. I have a comfortable life. And I'm grateful for all that I have. I'm grateful for my husband for providing the majority of that, but my little side ventures assist. The things that I do help where they can. They help us to be comfortable. His helps us pay the bills. Mine helps us to be
freedom.
able to enjoy.
It's
That's the thing is we
important.
work so hard. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I can't hear what you're saying.
It's all right because you need to you need to do that. You need to be your authentic self, and you got to let other people be who they are. I mean, why like your spouse or your significant other, why would you try to control what they're doing if they're trying to benefit the whole family? Like, why would you tell them that they're stupid or that their ideas are dumb or that they're crazy if they're just trying to help out? You know what I mean? Like, people need to watch what they're saying. And money, as far as money
Stop
goes,
calling people lazy. That's the one thing that I can't stand. There is no such thing as lazy. Okay? There is no such thing as lazy. I don't know who needs to hear this. There is no such thing as lazy.
no.
Lazy is a term used to manipulate, to guilt, to shame someone into doing what you want. It's a way to control someone by calling them something that's going to try to hurt their feelings. There's no such thing. I need to rest when I need to rest. I need to work when I want to work. I get called based on the energies. I get called based on my energies. Whatever I need to do is what I need to do. What
Stop judging him,
Everything
right?
gets done. Yes, it comes from a place of
Judge
judgment, a
yourself.
place of control. Stop calling people lazy. And I'm guilty of this. I
Judge
did this
yourself.
with my husband yesterday. I was working all day, doing the laundry, cleaning the house, organizing my work, organizing everything. And he's sitting on his phone on his one day off. He works 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. On his one day off, he's sitting on his phone. And I was being judgmental. And I kept saying, "You're so lazy. You're not doing anything. You're not helping me." Because I was trying to control him to get him to help me. Okay, so I was using it as a way to get him to do what I wanted. And then I felt bad afterwards because I realized that this man needs to rest. He works hard for us. And me taking that away from him by my controlling word of using laziness as a way to guilt him into doing what I want was not correct. And so I had to apologize because it had nothing to do with what he was doing or not doing. It was that I had this overload of things that I needed to do and I wanted help with it. And instead of going directly to him and saying, "Hey, I've got all this on my plate. Would you be willing to help me on your day off? I'd really appreciate that." No, I used a form of control, manipulation, and guilt
And
and shame
you're so
to
guilty
shame him
of
into
that.
doing what I wanted.
And we have a habit of doing that and not even knowing that we are doing that. Like, it's really toxic. And then we're like, why are they being defensive? Like, why don't they want to help me? Like, don't they see that we're struggling? And then we get all butthurt. And you can totally see how that toxicity cycle can go around in circles and just loop around and never find a resolution because literally both of you are correct. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, both of you are correct, but neither one of you are going to admit that the other,
No,
it's
I
because
was
you're
absolutely wrong to expect him to sacrifice his rest time to assist me without directly asking him for the assistance. I need to
Yep.
learn how to be more direct when I need his help. Instead of using a manipulation tool, I need to say, hey, I'm overwhelmed. Would you mind helping me? Instead of, you're lazy. I need you to, I need you to stop. I need you to sacrifice your rest so that you can assist me. Like, so anyway,
But
but
this
I'm
goes for
learning,
me.
like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm constantly learning, constantly becoming aware of my behaviors and my actions and then correcting them. And that's part of it, is that it's a learning process. We're always growing and learning and changing. And so I forgive myself. I hope that he forgives me, but we'll move on. So
Exactly. Like for me, like when I'm judging myself, I gotta stop that shit because honestly, if because of due to what I've been through, I need, especially because I'm going through a healing process,
mhm.
I need to be more kind to myself. So if I need to lay around all day, one day or 2 days,
I'm
lay
gonna
around
do
all day,
I'm gonna
honor
do a
yourself.
couple of those while you're talking.
That's fine. Honor yourself because we're going through so much right now. Our bodies are updating, and literally your body is processing stuff you probably won't even understand. Exactly. Give yourself self-respect. Exactly. Allow yourself. Forgive. Yeah, exactly. Forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong.
Uh,
Being your
this,
authentic
this
self.
was the first one that I pulled earlier. We were talking about stuff.
Yeah. And because we are, we always feel like we're not safe and we're reactive. We're always trying to seek validation.
Mhm.
But the truth is that you're exactly where you need to. And
So
there's nothing wrong with you. And if you feel like you need to quit your job, do it. If you feel like, because the thing is, maybe you're being guided to do so. You never know. You're going to walk out of that job, quitting one job, and have a job by the time you get home.
Mhm.
That could happen.
Or
I
maybe
mean,
you're meant to go through a period where you are doing other things, where you're opened up to a new possibility. Um,
yeah.
I am currently working on a project right now, with tarot cards, oracle cards, inspiration cards, with creating these things with my artwork, with my mandalas. And as I'm creating them, I'm realizing that I'm not just making one deck. I'm making like a template for all my future decks in each card that I'm making. And I'm like, holy crap, this could be extremely huge. And this all stemmed from just a little idea of somebody saying on my Facebook, oh, you should make tarot, or you should make oracle cards or tarot cards with your art would be beautiful as that. So now I'm looking into actually doing that. I find out that the publishing company for pretty much the entire United States is four exits down from where I live. For the United States is right down the street. And I'm going, okay, I'm being led to do this kind of thing. Like that is awesome. So now it's just a matter of me getting out of the way and letting that happen. And where did any
Yeah.
of this come from? I don't know. I've been led by spirit to do this artwork, to make mandalas. I didn't want to do mandalas. I said that from
And
the
would you
beginning.
be able to do that though?
I didn't even
But
like
Becky,
them.
if you were on autopilot, would you still be able to do that?
No.
No. If you weren't listening to your intuition, would you still be able to do that? No. If
The
you're in your highest
answer.
expression, would you be able to do
Stop.
that?
Honey,
No.
stop.
No,
Sorry.
no, 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 no.
My dogs are fighting. All right, so I'm gonna pull one, two, or three, or one, three, or five. What do you think? I think just one. That's what I'm thinking.
Whatever you
Yeah, I
want.
think I'm gonna just do one. The dogs are in here, so if you hear any weird moaning noises, I swear it's not me.
Yeah, okay. To relinquish control, I simply let loose and allow myself to be more childlike. Isn't that kind of what we were talking about a little bit? We need to let go and just be our highest authentic expression. And that, if that's being silly, that means being silly. I was washing dishes with my husband the other day, and I was like, I had a rose petal and I was sticking it to my nose, like sniffing it, sticking it to my nose, and just being silly. That's what we need to do, guys. Okay.
It says the Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits Soul Tribe. So for me,
We
that resonates. It is all coming together. And I think that was kind of what my dream, if you're just joining us now, go back and watch earlier. I was talking about my dream from this morning. I think that's the thing. And I was listening to Paul's message this morning. It's all Pleiadian. Everything was talking about the Pleiadians, and I'm like, okay, my dream was talking about this. And then the at the end he does. I'm talking about Paul White Gold Eagle, by the way. At
Yeah.
the end he does like a little what is it called? Oh, skipping my mind. Um, Not a declaration. Anyway, at the end he does like a little transmission, and it was about Isis, and the last tarot card that I created had Isis as the high priestess. And I was like, okay. And I just literally shared something about onion oil this morning, and he said something about Isis and onion oil, and I'm like, like, whoa, my mind is fried right now. That's crazy. But there is like this great thing going on. But to expect that these things are going to land out of the sky and this mothership is going to come without working on the inner stuff first, to expect that we're going to be saved and that it's going to happen and that we're going to be scooped out of here, you got to get to a high vibration. You have to clear out all of those things first, or you're never going to see it. So if we're just sitting here waiting for it to happen,
You mean the rapture?
all right, and
Everybody got me.
that's my daughter's bus, so I got to jump off here.
So real quick here, happiness is the choice I make, right? What is this? To flourish is to release all the tension that holds me back from letting love pour through me. Let love pour through you. I show up for myself.
See, and I love those cards because that was where I got the inspiration for inspiration cards, was just seeing your cards. And I was like, I could do those. I could make those. Could you imagine my artwork with in the background? I
Made my
could make
own.
those like this. And so that's something that I'm working on, and I'm so excited
Here's
about.
my deck that I made. This is the deck that I made with index cards.
Oh,
I
we might have to collaborate together too. Get some ideas.
I made
So.
my own with index cards because I was like, I need to have these cards, and my guides were like, go get index cards, and I filled them out in like five minutes, like all of them. I was like, Jesus, I need to get more cards
Oh my
because I
gosh, you
wanted.
should have seen me. I have 5 different tarot decks, and I played the match game the other day. Because I was matching each one, and I put them all into like a portfolio so that all of their energy can be on these index cards that I'm going to use to start creating. And so I've got like 5 decks, and this portfolio won't even close. Hold on, let me show you. It won't even close.
I want to see.
So full. It's so full.
You guys awesome, isn't that? Isn't that awesome?
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm using their energy to try to give me more inspiration for making them. So I'm excited about this. All right, I've got to jump off because my daughter's bus is arriving. But I love you guys, and I will see you soon. I don't know what it's going to look like going forward with summer break coming, but we're going to make it happen either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because our kids will be here, but we'll still be on live.
Yeah, you'll just be witnessing kids in the background, and that's great.
I'll be
Sometimes.
annoying.
Sometimes they're great. They can't be any worse than the dogs.
Mine will come in and do a reading with us or something because that's what Zoe especially, she's been doing them on Fridays, which is Zoe Zone. So if you want to tune in on Fridays, we are going to be doing that probably every Friday.
Know. I love watching her. I mean, there's just so much pure energy coming from that.
And
So
then Zach
I love it.
I'm going to call it something like exactly what you need to hear right now or something like that. Because I was like, ooh, exactly has his name in it. So we're going to do something fun like that for him too. It's going to be awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys later. All right. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.